And we are live. Beautiful, wonderful. Let me check the YouTube channel, make sure things are snazzy, as they should be. There it is. Okay. We'll make sure the audio sounds good and everything. I'll wait for the folk to give me the all clear. Soundwave is here. Hey LNG, we've got Benedictus Udama, who says Gamaro. Boston B, there was a new weapon, says K-Sword. Yeah, they doggone it, they did it. They added a new weapon to the Halo game. 2 years after release. We thought it would never happen. Hey, just checking in, can't stay, but I wish you all a wonderful stream. Thank you, Frozen Fire. I know this is a little bit early. We can hear the music. Is it too loud, or is it too quiet? Hopefully the stream audio levels are good. Let me post this onto Twitter. Yeah, come one, come all. Take shelter in this stream from the scary world. And let's have some fun checking out the new Halo content. Alright. Escape the... And escape the world and come check out Halo's new content with me. Getting the new Chief Kit. There we go. New weapon in the campaign? No. They unfortunately, they can't do that. It's, oh man, with the bandit rifle, it was kind of like surprising that that wasn't added to the campaign. So this time it's not so surprising that the Avenger also is not in the campaign. What is surprising though, I looked here, I can't find it on the, it's not here, you know, on the firing range. Like, I think they forgot to add it, or maybe just, you know, it's a lot harder to add things to the firing range. But, we got enough credits up here. I'm gonna be getting this, this chief thing. I got the Halo 1 Chief. This is the Halo 2 Chief. I'll be getting it. I don't mind. So there we go. We got that, and we are also going to, because I'm a man of my word, I said if throwback weapons are ever introduced, weapon models that I like, I'll put my money where my mouth is, and I'll get them. And so I am also getting this, which is the Halo 2 Sniper Rifle. So there we go. The new playlist is genuinely fun. That's what I've heard. I got a chance to play it actually early, and it was pretty solid. I was actually surprised by the quality of some of the Forge maps. The Covenant one, the remake of Midship, I don't think that one's very good. I mean, it's Midship, like it's, you know, it's fun. What I mean more so is I don't think the visual quality was that good. It had that kind of like plasticky Forge look. But I also know those Covenant pearlescent pieces, that's almost like Forge's kryptonite. You know, the material work for Halo's Forge mode has come a long way, but pearlescent, Covenant-y stuff, it's still a little tough. So look at this. Here's our new sniper rifle model. Look at that. That's the return of the king, baby. Let's also throw on the classic weapon coating for it to give it that old Halo 2 coloration. Nice. Nice. I wish I could make the scope green. I know that that's more of a Halo 3 thing, but Here, we'll even do the Halo Reach battle rifle. No, that's the Old Faithful coating. Here we go. Yeah, I guess that looks alright. No way people are complaining about not being able to customize the new weapon that the studio didn't have to add. Oh, did they not add the Avenger to they didn't. That's pretty wild. That's okay, so it's not in the Academy, nor is it customizable. It must have really been kind of like a last-minute change then, or a last-minute addition. Because you can already see with, we'll check out the Avenger in a second, but it is very obviously a weapon that was kind of cobbled together. Like, the production value for it is noticeably lower. Here, this is a little bit interesting. They also have a throwback Spanker model, but I would argue the differences are very minor. I mean, I could, I can see there's a gap there, but it's almost like maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. It seems, though, like for the Spanker at least, just not quite as... They didn't go quite as far as I would have liked with trying to make it look like a classic Spanker, you know? I'm still of the opinion that if they really wanted to, they should add a low polygon set of weapon kits. Low polygon Spartan. Okay. Let's check out this. Here's this Master Chief. So, okay, immediately, our boy's got a little bit of a paunch there. Something weird is going on over here, I've noticed. I spent a little bit of time looking at it before I started up the stream, and there's quite a couple of oddities that I wanted to talk about. So, for some reason, the lights are blue, which is, not correct. And then these parts here, which should be, like, they should be black, right? Like you can see in there, some of the detailing there on the back. Those should be black, but for some reason they're this weird, like, grass green, which is not game accurate. There's also these black bits on his arm, as well as his brim is black, which... Brim! Yeah, so it's just a little bit odd. Hopefully, though, we can change it up via some tweaking. So here, we're going to go over to Customize. We're going to go over to Body and AI. This is a body type that I found. It's, here, I think it was this body type that was actually able to get it to look decent, like getting rid of the paunch a little bit. Yeah, we actually just equipped it properly, and then we'll go over to Customize. Yeah, the wifey's in there. Oh, and guess what? She's back! My wife is back from New York. She's right behind me. Which is wonderful. Okay. Oh, can we not edit the body? You could do that pre-release. Interesting. Okay. Pre-release... If you screwed around with the body type slider, you could actually adjust the proportions. Okay, so I guess this chief just had, like, one too many donuts? It's fine. It seems like it was extracted from the H2A cinematics. I doubt it was extracted. Because the CGI model looks pretty different from this. Like, not just the undersuit, but also the proportions. Like, you can see that the helmet is not one-to-one. If you remember the cutscene, giving the Covenant back their bomb, when Chief walks over to the mirror or not mirror, the window to look out at outer space. Like his shoulders, for the CGI model, they broadened out his shoulders and kind of slimmed down his waist a little bit just to give him a bit of that, like, toy-like Halo 2 proportions. Here, but let's see if we can find a coating that maybe looks a little bit more accurate. That looks pretty decent. It's not quite there, but... let's find some more greens. That looks pretty cool. I won't lie. A little bit of a military camouflage, Master Chief. Yeah, it's a good-looking kit either way. Just don't really like this weird paunch that they gave him. We can have complete black, which looks pretty badass. Look at that. Here is the Halo Combat Evolved. And bizarrely enough, that looks more game accurate. A little bit too saturated, you know, but the colors are more on point, I would say. Yeah, the green man coating, something about it doesn't look quite right. That also looks pretty cool. I mean, the lights aside. It's all right. We'll rock this one, okay? Yeah. What do you think? That looks pretty neat. See how he looks on the screen. Yeah, buddy, look at that. That looks so cool. Okay, let's give him a cool stance. One that is that gives Master Chief. Look at the freaking accordion feet. These are my favorite Spartan boots in the entire Halo series. I love the accordion feet from Halo 2. LNG, have you tried the Combat Evolved coating? That's what we just tried. Any polka dots available? Can't say. I don't think I have any of the polka dots. Let's try to find a stance that gives, like, Halo 2 Chief. Because this gives, like, Halo 4 Chief. Probably because of the assault rifle and stuff. This also kind of gives, like, a Halo 4 Chief. Master Chief's poses in Halo 2 are usually very, like, action movie-like. They're not too militaristic, I've noticed. So I've got to find one that looks like a little bit like loud looking. Like not like he wants to like breach a door or something. Just something that looks frickin' wild. we can make our Master Chief look like this. He looks like he's about to walk into Alta. That one's a little bit Halo 3-y. I couldn't tell you why, but that's what that gives me. That one is definitely Super Halo Infinity. That one's all right. A little bit Halo 2 it gives. This one, even though the gravity hammer is not in Halo 2, that one gives me Halo 2 energy. Hey, Mr. Nowhere's here. Dude, Mr. Nowhere, thank you. Thank you for the donation, dude. Wow. Happy Tuesday. It's good to see you, Mr. Nowhere. How you doing, buddy? That's really kind of you. It's always great to see you, man. That's pretty Halo 2, in my opinion. Here, we'll equip it for now. But we'll keep looking. Right now, Mr. Nowhere, what we're trying to do... Okay, it looks like this is the end of it. We're trying to find a good stance that kind of gives Chief aura. That also gives kind of Halo 2. Your face is a little bit Halo 3, says Daniel Bob. Any BR stances, big Halo 2 energy. Chief's Halo 2 poses are mid-2000s cool. That one's okay. That one's alright. It's just... Chief's a little bit cooler than that. That's him getting his... He didn't get a medal, did he, in Halo 2? I can't remember. Okay, alright. Either way, it's fine. I'm working and I'm being distracted by your stream. Dude, Mr. Nowhere. Sounds good, man. Have you, do you have any plans to check out the new Halo update when you get off of work? Play. Alright, let's give this a... Okay, do we start with Delta Arena? Which is Delta Arena, for those of you just joining. Delta Arena is the new playlist that is basically Halo 2 rule set. You can't sprint, you can't clamber. You can only walk, jump, punch, throw grenades, pick up weapons, shoot your weapons. And all the maps are Halo 2 remakes. Or should we try out third-person firefight? I don't think a metal pin could pin to that armor. Yeah, I also feel like Lord Hood would get his hand singed off if he tried poking it because of Master Chief's energy shield. Like, I'm just picturing, you know, I mean, that energy shield, like, it flares up if you punch another Spartan, so I'd imagine a pin, it would also do the same. He'd be like, Master Chief, for acts of courage, and he'd get thrown across the room. Delta Arena. Third-person firefight. Try Delta. Okay, we'll try Delta. Arena. Legacy Slayer. Legacy Capture the Flag. Legacy Oddball. We'll try all of them. Haven't played Infinite in a hot minute, to be honest. Halo friends are a little hard to come by. We're friends on Xbox, Mr. Nowhere. What time do you... What time zone do you live in, I should ask? Maybe if you're online, we could get a couple games in together. Have you seen people complaining about the new game, the new gun just being an AR reskin? With the animations and sounds. Meanwhile, the Halo 3 battle rifle and AR had the same reload. Yeah, I have seen that. And it's... I think like a little bit of context is necessary. So the new weapon in... the new weapon that they've added to the sandbox, the Avenger, it basically reuses the sound effects and animations of the assault rifle. And it's clearly built with the assault rifle's... it's clearly like a mod of the assault rifle under the hood, you know? But... And people are like mad, they want it to have its own unique sound effects, they want it to have its own unique animations. And in a perfect world, that would be nice. But the way that I see it is, it was either they do this or we don't get a weapon at all, because clearly their animation team, I don't even think they have a lead animator currently, Halo Studios. I think they're still hiring for that position. Either way, though, things like adding a new weapon with new animations is off the table. Their resources are very limited. So... if this is how we get new weapons in the game, by cleverly using already existing resources, then I say go for it. Go for it. I'm just happy to have a new weapon. And honestly, I think in some cases, here's the new weapon, the Avenger. In some cases like the Avenger, I think that this kind of philosophy should have extended to some of the other weapons. Like... I don't think that there's really a good reason that the battle rifle, bandit rifle, and assault rifle in this game all have completely different reload animations. What Bungie did back in the 2000s is they just let the assault rifle, battle rifle, and DMR share reloads. And I think that is the smart approach because it means that your animators are freed up to give new weapons bespoke animations. It's like, my man, they're all bullpup weapons. They all have kind of the same silhouette. You don't have to waste the resources. Just give them all the same animations. It's how Bungie is able to add so many guns to Destiny, you know? They just let them reuse animations. Look, see? You can kind of see where they've hacked this weapon into existence, and I think it is, it's very clever how they were able to actually get it done. I hope that the inclusion of the Avenger means that we're going to be getting more weapons, if it means, you know, reusing animations. The Avenger kind of looks like a split-gate weapon. It does kind of, doesn't it? The Avenger is it's a weapon from the Halo books. This is actually the first time it's ever been in a Halo game before. It's only ever been mentioned. It's appeared on the front cover of Ghosts of Onyx. And it's kind of like one of those weapons where it's had a cult following just because of its descriptions in the books. Oh my god. Oh, I guess we don't have friendly fire enabled. Okay. Dang, still on the 1080 Ti, all reliable, the best GPU ever. Yeah, the 1080 Ti was a damn good graphics card. I'm surprised that it's held up this long, though its time in the sun is over, and I do need an upgrade. But from the looks of it, it looks like I don't need an upgrade too soon. But by the time the next Halo game comes out, I definitely gotta, you know. I wanna have all those fancy ray tracings and what haves you on. You can't really find a place for the Commando in Halo's sandbox. Yeah, I feel you. I think the Commando is it's a confusing weapon. Like, it's not bad or anything. It works really, really well. It's more that it's between the bandit and the sidekick and the battle rifle. It's very hard to kind of justify, I guess, the Commando as, like, you know, if you were to yank it out of the sandbox, I don't think much would change in regards to Halo Infinite's combat loop. Those resources probably could have went to, like, another weapon. Just my thoughts, though. Having individual weapon animation helps give them more personality and further defines them within the sandbox. See, I don't think I agree there. I mean, obviously in some instances, but when it came to, like, the older Bungie Halo games, in Halo 3, the AR and VR shared animations, and they had extremely distinct personalities. You know, the DMR and Assault Rifle and Reach, they shared animations, again, had extremely distinct personalities. I think it's more of like a, kind of like a waste of resources. You know, and then you look at also Destiny, where all auto rifles in that game have the exact same animations, all pulse rifles, etc. And all the weapons in that game, they have their own distinct personalities. Because it's more so the actual design of the weapon than it is the actual animations, you know? If you got a bunch of bullpups in your game, it's probably smarter to just let them all share the same animations. That way you can put the actual animators to work on the original weapons that do need their own animations. Maybe it's just because I'm an animator for games. Yeah, probably. I mean, you're probably seeing just missed potential. After Halo Infinite, though, and how kind of like, you know, long it took for them to add the DMR to the game, and then how long it took them to add this, it's like, maybe from the start they should have adopted a kind of system where they pick and choose what really needs its own bespoke animations. That way the animators can be put to work on new stuff. Because there are some weapons where it's like, for example, there is no shell-loading shotgun in this game. And, you know, if you were to take, like, the battle rifle, bandit, and the Avenger, just give them all the assault rifle's reload animations, and then get an animator to work on a shell-loading shotgun for Halo Infinite. You know, as well as maybe a plasma rifle. That's what I'm thinking of. You could probably get more stuff into the game that way. There was this great talk from a Bungie animator a while ago. And it was, his story basically was something along the lines of don't accept the waffles. And the way he told the story was he was working on Halo Reach. They were in the final, like, stretch. You know, everyone at the studio was crunching to get the game out the door. His work was done. And he was extremely tired and he wanted to go home. And one of Bungie's seniors came to him and was like, we need the grenade throwing needs to be sped up by like 10%. And that requires you reanimating stuff. Because in Halo Reach, the grenade throwing animation, it had to be done manually for each weapon. Like, they didn't have kind of a unified under the hood system where there's just a single grenade animation. So this guy is like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. And what the Bungie senior says is, if you stay late tonight and get this done for me, I'll make you a plate of waffles. And he accepted the plate of waffles. And he stayed up way too late, manually speeding up the grenade throw animation of every single weapon in Halo Reach. And what he said was, like, he got a terrible night's sleep. It was one of those tiny things that ate away at his personal health. And at the end of the day, for Destiny, what he instead did was he came up with a new system, which was when you throw a grenade in Destiny, your character will lower the weapon out of frame so that you can't see your weapon. Then there is the grenade throw animation. Then your character will raise the weapon back up into frame. That way he didn't have to do that again. And basically that's it. It's like, you know, make it so that you don't have to choose between your mental health and a plate of waffles. And that's what I'm thinking about with the animations. Where I'm like, you know, they probably could have just unified a couple animations in the weapons that all look the same. To answer your question, Mr. LNG, I live Central Standard Time, so maybe one day. Gotcha. Okay, so I'm Eastern Standard Time. What time are you usually online? How's the MA5K balanced? The developers said that they were aiming for the Halo 5 SMG, and it definitely feels like that. The crosshair at least looks a lot like the Halo 5 submachine gun. So it's pretty dang good at range, if you're burst firing, that is. Very fast fire rate, but because of the fast fire rate, it's very easy to, you know... It's very easy to burn through ammo, miss a bunch of shots if you're just spraying and praying. Call me uneducated, but why aren't we porting previous animations into Infinite? Wouldn't that also save money? It would save money if it was that easy, and unfortunately it's not that easy. Because for Halo Infinite, under the hood, they made a lot of changes to the way Halo's animation system works. So, like, there is stuff, like, you guys have probably seen the cut shotgun, as well as some other weapons from Halo 5 that are left over in the game's code. And it's like, even though those are animated in, like, an offline modding sense. If you were actually to get those working in an online setting, the animations would break, they wouldn't work, they wouldn't feel right, they wouldn't sync up with the actual networking and everything. And in order to actually get... You'd have to do it over. You'd have to start from scratch. It's part of the same reason that the assassinations did not make it into Halo Infinite, because... they had to redo that entire system. And before the release of the game, there just was no time to actually get assassinations back into the engine. So they were just cut from the game. I'm not gonna lie, this game feels really good. This classic playlist. The movement feels a little bit like Halo 2. In the evenings, Wednesdays and Fridays are the freest. Thanks for inviting little ol' me. Oh, Mr. Nowhere, you're not little ol' you. Okay, Wednesdays and Fridays. Okay, so you should be on tomorrow. I'll check it out and see if you're online tomorrow. We can put a couple games in. Damn it. I wonder how rarely fully autos will be useful with it. Commando perfects were very satisfying. I wonder how rarely fully autos will be useful with it. A little bit confused by that wording there. Do you think the MA5K would be a better starting weapon than the assault rifle? Hard to say right now, because the MA5K, it's already got some pretty nasty range to it, but I notice it's a little bit harder to use, just because of how fast the fire rate is. It's harder to keep the accuracy under control, because with the assault rifle, the fire rate is slow enough that you can kind of pepper your shots pretty consistently, you know, to get the kills. I'd imagine part of the reason that they actually wanted an SMG-like weapon is actually because the assault rifle is just a little bit overtuned in this game, and rather than nerf the assault rifle and potentially piss off the people that do like where the assault rifle is, they opted to instead kind of bring back the submachine guns in a way that was like, that was kind of like, you know, well, you don't have any resources to make new weapons, so how can you kit bash a bunch of existing assets into something that we could patch into the game and call a new weapon? And that's where this gun came from. And I think it's a pretty decent workaround of the problem. The game mode makes me want to play, but I have to do homework. You know what I'd say? Every time that you solve a problem, give yourself one game, one match. Enemy team is getting SBMM'd. Lamau. I can definitely feel a bit of the sweat right now. Yeah, see? Right there. It's a little bit harder to get your kills with this weapon, which does actually, like... It's probably the first playlist, I think, in Halo Infinite that does have that, like, classic Halo feel to it. Just because now you're not cross-mapping people with an automatic weapon. and as ever, I'm not great at throwing stickies, which is fine. The MA5's ammo display looks really weird, not gonna lie.
Nearing victory.
I know what you mean. I'm looking at it right now pretty intensely. I think it's the color? Like, the color's kind of odd. Yeah, the color's a little bit weird, as well as, the display doesn't look quite as advanced, I guess, as some of the other UNSC displays. The, that was a little bit long range to get a kill like that. I feel like that probably should have been outside the kill zone for this weapon. But, what I think it is that it's a lot simpler looking, as well as I think the font is what kind of, you know, it's a very geometric looking, display, but the font is very rounded and kind of modern looking, so I think there's a little bit of a visual clash. I'd love to see if somebody could maybe, in Photoshop, give it a more analog looking set of numbers, like an analog font for the numbers, and it would probably look a little bit better. I think that might be what's off, is just that the font that they use for the numbers doesn't quite match the very analog-y, geometric look of the display. But it definitely does match the, for Halo, the visor operating system that all the UNSC tech uses. In Halo Infinite, they came up with this. It's actually pretty cool. It's this in-universe operating system that UNSC tech works off of. That's called Visor. It's like the same thing that the ODSTs use, but they've actually canonized it into this bigger thing. So, like, you can see right there on the assault rifle, that heads-up display is its own kind of like mini computer, and it has to be updated with new software and stuff, and it's using Visor as its operating system to display tactical information. And if you go over to your vehicles, you can even see that the Warthog... Okay, well, maybe you can't see it, but... maybe it's a little bit too far away. Yeah, it's a little bit too far away. The Warthog, at least in-game, if you ever peek into the Warthog, the dashboard is also using Visor as its operating system. So you can see, like, the Warthog's health, the acceleration speed and stuff, and it's all got the exact same font, the same color of blue and everything. It's cool. It's cool. I actually really like it. And they sort of tried to make the main menu also look like it's a Visor UI. But I think they tried to strike a balance between being a video game main menu and like an in-game lore operating system. And I wish they would have gone the whole way, because I think the main menu is kind of caught between two styles. Yeah, it's the font, I think. The font just doesn't quite match the style. And it's similar here. You can see it's still the Visor, but the font is just like a little bit too round, I think, where it could look a little bit more analog, and that would actually clean it up just a bit. You know, rather than those round edges on the 3s and 0s, you could instead have them be very square. Those are just my my opinions as someone who is not an expert in art design. Okay, this is the Halo Infinite sniper. I didn't get a chance to actually pick it up so I could see my own. Yeah, but you can hear it's even using the assault rifle's sound effects and stuff.
Lost the lead.
Late night gaming, historically bad at using Halo snipers. Unless they are the Halo 3 sniper, for some reason, and the Halo 2 Anniversary sniper. Those are the ones that I'm pretty consistently good with. All the others, I can't do it. And it's my fault, not the game's. By the 9 Divines, good Halo content, says that Skooma Kitty. Oh, that's a Elder Scrolls reference. Dude, I hope the next Elder Scrolls game is good. Like, don't get me wrong, I like Starfield quite a lot. Like, Starfield I really, really, really like. But, Bethesda can do better. Oh, crap. Okay. Nakai is good with the Halo 2 sniper anytime I join his custom game nights. Is he now? I think Friendly Collision is on. I think I was just bumping into that guy. That'll be cool if that's the case. I'm very good with the Halo 5 sniper, but that's not saying much. The Halo 5 sniper, I think, is one of the more challenging sniper rifles to use. Mostly just because of, I think, how low the aim assist is on it.
Killing spree.
I know before I've said it's one of the easier ones, but I don't know if I agree with that sentiment that I had anymore. Yeah, Friendly Collision is on. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, this feels really good, this playlist. It feels very chill. Like, even with the crazy, you know, Halo Infinite skill-based matchmaking, because of the fact that the Avenger has such a short range, I don't really... It doesn't feel kind of like a lot of other Halo Infinite playlists, where firefights are started at a much longer range because of the assault rifle's ease of use. I feel like I have a bit more breathing room to just sort of, like, run around. And also, I feel more compelled to get close to an enemy so that I can initiate a melee attack. Which is another reason that the automatics in Halo traditionally usually are never long range. Until Halo 5 and Halo Infinite, that is. It's just because they want to encourage a little bit more getting close to folks, having your melee battles, throwing your grenades and stuff. Otherwise, you sort of end up in a situation like Call of Duty, where it's all gunfights usually happen from medium to long range, from behind cover. This, I don't feel comfortable with the sniper anymore. I feel more comfortable with the Bulldog. I think there's a guy up here. But because, oh my god, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die after trading out my sniper. This is the way the world ends. To quote Cortana. Okay. The Reach Assault Rifle was aight. Yeah, the Reach Assault Rifle, I think, was probably, like, the most... It was, like, perfect. Perfect. Everything down to the last minute details. I think the Reach Assault Rifle, if you wanted a good balance between Halo 3, which maybe was a little bit too difficult for folks to use, and then the Halo 5 and Halo Infinite one, which I think is too easy for folks to use, Reach was probably the perfect middle ground. I don't know. How does anyone else feel? Do you use frame generation on live streams? I do not, because frame generation doesn't work with it doesn't work with capture, screen capture. It kind of blocks it, and so I do not think that it would work on a live stream either. So I am playing at 60 frames per second right now.
Nearing victory.
What, man? The Reach AR was unusable if you weren't 1 inch away from them. Oh, I don't know what Reach you were playing. The one that I was playing, it was definitely usable. Keep in mind also that for a weapon in Halo to be usable, it doesn't just mean that it's kind of like the battle rifle, where you can get your kills with that weapon and that weapon alone. Some weapons are designed more for you to use in combination with other abilities. So like in Halo Reach, I have so many cleanups. From chuck a grenade into a room, it pops the shields, run in with the assault rifle, feather the trigger, and clean up the kills of the unshielded Spartans. If you're running around just trying to get kills with only your trigger and nothing else, then yeah, you probably won't you probably won't be doing too well, but that's almost more of like you playing Halo wrong than any kind of issue with the weapon. I like this. Look at that. You can see the overshield right there. It would have been cool if they had the insta abilities where you just walk over them. Oh boy. See if we can bait him out.
Victory.
Nice, nice, nice. Reach was the best classic era assault rifle. Halo 4 is the best modern Halo AR. Yeah, I could agree with that. I could agree with that. I liked the design of the Reach AR. It looks awesome. Yeah, the Reach AR looks pretty cool. I think, though, it's a little bit skinny to the point that I think it only looks good from the default Halo Reach view model position. If you move that thing around and kind of get a good look at how skinny it actually is, the Reach assault rifle ends up looking pretty goofy. But it is a cool looking assault rifle. It almost looks like a prototype to the Combat Evolved assault rifle. Here, let me pull it up. Halo Reach assault rifle. I want to take a good look at it for a quick second. Yeah, that thing looks cool. It's like you can see how kind of like broken up it is, how exposed it is, like all the various bits and bobs of like the traditional Halo like silhouette, you know, that the assault rifle has. They all look like attachments. And then by the time you actually jump to Halo Combat Evolved, it's kind of like the weapon has been, you can see here, it's been like properly now encased. Like the prototype doesn't need to be used anymore, like the weapon's final. Yeah, I like the look of the Reach one quite a bit. Halo 3 one looks cool as well. It's just, I don't quite know what it is about it. It doesn't have the same like menacing aura that the Combat Evolved one has. It doesn't have the cool tactical look of the Reach one. What I will say though is the green light on the side, the green lights on the side of the assault rifle, those were badass looking, and those should have stayed for all future iterations of the assault rifle, in my opinion. That was a cool detail. Halo 4 and Halo 5 ones, those look pretty damn fantastic. They pretty much took that Halo 3 assault rifle and made it look a little bit beefier, a little bit chunkier. The Halo 3 AR is in the Combat Evolved remake after losing some weight. Oh, the Combat Evolved Anniversary assault rifle, it's literally just the Halo 3 model. But they recolored it a little bit. Oh my gosh, that guy. Okay. All of the Halo 3 weapons seem a bit softer. I'm not sure why. They, I think it's a lower polygon count, to be honest. I could be completely mistaken, but I'm fairly sure that most of the weapons in Halo 3, outside of like a couple of the hero weapons, like I think the assault rifle, or the battle rifle, the pistol. No, I think it, yeah, even the battle rifle. Yeah, I know that like Halo 3, there's actually quite a few weapons where, weirdly enough, they have a lower polygon count than their Halo 2 counterparts, so they end up looking a little bit softer. Or not softer, I guess simpler. Simpler's the word I'm looking for.
Gain the lead.
Come on. Try to get me.
Lost the lead.
I've got 2 bonkers close-range weapons here. Come on, try it.
Another one down.
Oh boy. No grenades. Okay, we're gonna retreat a little bit.
My shield's popped.
The top of the Halo 3 assault rifle just looks a little bit too round to me. Yeah, okay, yeah, I could see that. There we go. Okay. Though I think that guy might have noticed me, because it looked like he was teabagging for a second. So that might have been an unfair kill. He might have just been trying to, like, say hi. No, no, no. You do not get to use that, that active camo.
Spotted an overshield.
Wait, what the fuck? The Halo 3 weapons have a lower polygon count? I'm shocked by how good they look. They look pretty rough. Some of them, at least. Like, the battle rifle, if you've ever looked at the Halo 3 battle rifle in third person, it's like... just the scope looks extremely high detail. Like, everything else is kind of, like, pretty shocking. Like, the grip... is like literally like a block. Here, let me see if I can actually pull it up. Halo 3 battle rifle versus Halo 2 battle rifle. The Halo 2 battle rifle also makes like really good use of bump maps. Here, I don't know if it shows up quite that well, but you can see here. Like, look at the look, it's like square, 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 not a single rounded edge in sight. Very, very square and polygonal.
In my sights.
Though the scope, like I mentioned, the scope looks fantastic in Halo 3.
Grab the active camo.
Something about Halo 3's lighting and textures make them look like miniatures in the best way possible. Yeah, I think it's
Way to victory.
so Halo 3, to my knowledge, outside of... Oh, look at this little classic rocket launcher kit that I've got. That does kind of look like the classic rocket launcher. Maybe a little bit too high poly, but... Oh boy. They can have it. What was I gonna say? Yeah, the Halo 3 actually, remember how I made that video on Halo 2's cut lighting engine? And how it was gonna have kind of like characters casting shadows on themselves? That engine was ultimately cut, and so in Halo 2, none of the characters can actually cast shadows back onto themselves. So, you know, Master Chief could be standing out in the sun, and his arm won't cast a shadow onto his leg, or anything like that, and it does end up looking kind of flat and unlit as a result. And for Halo 3, they still couldn't have those kind of like self-casting shadows. And so what they came up with was actually kind of like a really clever solution. The way it was explained to me was, in Halo 3, Bungie took individual body parts, so torso, legs, arms, head, all of those are kind of treated like separate entities under the hood, and each of those can cast a shadow that will fall on, you know, other objects. So, you know, in motion, it does kind of look like, you know, Master Chief's helmet is casting a shadow onto his own chest, but really it's like his disconnected head is casting a shadow to the disconnected torso that is underneath the head. That's the way it's treated. Dude, look at this Halo 2 sniper. Holy crap. Oh my god, this looks really cool. It looks extremely thin. More thin than I remember the Halo 2 sniper looking. Damn, that was cool for a hot second. Recommendation to try the Halo 4 default coating on the Chief. That's what I think I'm using. I'll give it a try. I can't remember what the Mark whatevers are. You know, Mark 5, Mark 6, Mark 7, I can't. I don't know what any of those are. I just go by, like, what game they're from, you know? I really prefer the Halo 2 battle rifle. I have to say it feels so much more lethal and effective than Halo 3's. Yeah, it definitely, the Halo 2 battle rifle has a little bit more immediacy and a little bit more kinetic impact, I'd say. But the view model in Halo 2 actually, it bothers me quite a lot just because of the awkward way that they've, like, stretched out Chief's thumb. Like, the way Chief holds the battle rifle in Halo 2, it looks almost unfinished. Though a lot of animations in Halo 2, I think, are direct downgrades from Halo Combat Evolved. You know, and those carried over into Halo 3, and it wasn't really until Halo Reach when I think they began getting those animations back up to snuff. Yeah, for some reason, Halo 2 and Halo 3, they have some obnoxiously bad animation quality in some areas. What I do like, though, is that the Halo 3 battle rifle, you have to lead your shots a little bit, so it's less of like a laser beam. I think the Halo 2 battle rifle, it was a little bit too dominant. Mark 4 is the Jerome. Oh, the Jerome coat. Okay, I'll take a look at it. 60 rounds. Are we back in form now? I'd say we are. This playlist feels good. Let's check it out. Your suggestion was putting the Jerome coat. Not the Cadet Olive, right? Or the Cadet Sage. Is it this one? That looks kind of cool. It looks a little bit chiefy. It's got the weird kind of like Sam Raimi Spider-Man patterns on the gloves, which aren't quite Halo 2 accurate, but you know, we can run around with it and we'll see if we can make it work. Here, let's do a quick round of third-person firefight. Does Infinite perform better on Microsoft Store or Steam? I've heard that the Steam version has slight input delay if you're using a controller, but I can't verify that. Do you prefer projectile or hit scan? Oh, projectile. Projectile any day. Because I think projectile weapons, they add a whole new level of balancing that hit scan games do not have. Because in a hit scan game, you're really limited to like the range, fire rate, and damage. I guess as well as, you know, like recoil when it comes to, you know, balancing a weapon. But if you introduce projectiles, it opens up a whole new avenue of balancing a weapon. Like, say the assault rifle in Halo Infinite, it's too much range. You know, it's too easy to use at long range. Well, you could theoretically leave every stat exactly as is, intact, just slow down the projectile speed. At close range, that projectile speed difference won't matter because you'll be so close that the impacts are almost immediate. But at a range, it'll actually take a little bit of time before the bullet can actually hit its target, which means it's a lot harder to actually hit those targets because they're moving around. So there you go. You haven't actually touched the weapon's accuracy, its damage, or anything. You've just slowed down the speed of the bullets. And it's more balanced at range because of it. That's why I prefer projectiles. I think they're a more creative way of balancing a weapon. So here we go, guys. Third-person Halo.
Set, start. Hill incoming.
What do you think? Pretty cool, right? Something also that's pretty wild after playing Black Ops 6, really binging Black Ops 6, is Halo looks so good in third person. Halo Infinite specifically. It's almost like the game was like designed with it, just because in Black Ops 6, the animations look pretty bad. I mean, I shouldn't say bad. That's so like obnoxious. They're good animations, but I don't think they blend together very well because they're not really designed for a third-person perspective. You know, they're targets that you're supposed to shoot at. But in Halo Infinite, like, this just looks good. It looks natural, it looks organic. If you didn't know before, you'd mistake this as being like a natively developed third-person shooter. Just because of how well the animations all blend together, how powerful the different stances look in third person behind the shoulder. Here, let's grab ammo for our Avenger.
Your team about to score.
Why isn't the Avenger on the weapons bench? My theory is that it's due to how low their resources are. Because I'm thinking, okay, weapon bench, that would involve getting... UI would have to get involved. Engineering would also have to get involved. You'd also have to start doing... There's already localization, but you'd have to really, really get localization involved, because then you'd have to have, like, all the different codings localized so that, you know, there aren't any kind of mistakes when sifting through the UIs. My wife came back with a piece of pizza because she's a sweetheart. And she's lovely, and I'm so happy that she's back from New York. But, yeah, it's probably down to the fact that, like, the Avenger, we already see how many corners had to be cut just to get it into the game. It has no unique sound effects, no unique animations. It's pretty much a mod of the assault rifle under the hood. It doesn't have a weapon bench, isn't showing up in the academy. It was probably just, you know, the live service team probably fought behind the scenes for the Halo community very hard to get a new weapon added to the game. And leadership was probably like, you know what? If you guys can figure out how to get it done with minimal resources, then go ahead. And this was probably the solution they came up with. And I think it's, you know, kudos to them. I'd rather have this than nothing. By the way, sorry for joining you so much on Black Ops 6. Probably why you set your thing to invite only. No, don't worry about it, Tech Pawn. The reason I set it to invite only was because I've been bouncing back and forth between the Steam Deck and the Xbox. And I didn't want to appear like I was rudely leaving parties when folks join. I thought it would be easier and simpler to just have it set to invite only. Which, the Steam Deck, it's a pretty good Game Pass machine. The xCloud streaming service, it's come quite a long way, I think. It's gotten to the point now where, at least as far as, like, input lag is concerned, I've gotten used to it, or I can't feel, like, they've gotten the actual, like, input latency so low that I can't feel it anymore. But Black Ops 6 feels really good to play over xCloud streaming on a Steam Deck. Oh boy.
5 enemies remaining.
Let's get out of here.
2 enemies remaining. Last enemy. Your team's
Yeah, I'm super impressed with the animation quality of Halo Infinite. Just look at that. Look at how smooth everything blends together.
weapon drop.
And this is all stuff that's been more or less borrowed from Halo 5. A lot of the animations were just kind of like brought over from Halo 5.
Set start. Hill incoming.
And they work. I think this is me. There's probably some folks watching right now that are competitive Halo players, or at least they enjoy playing Halo Ranked. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on this. It's a bit of feedback that I gave a while ago to 343. It was only my own personal opinion, and, you know, it was probably just kind of like a who cares. But the feedback that I gave was, I wish that the slide animation actually kept the head at crouch level. Because Halo typically has two stances, crouching and standing. But when in Halo 5, and by extension Halo Infinite, because it's the same animation, when you slide, you actually enter a third stance, which is pretty low to the ground. And what I sent was a GIF of Call of Duty Ghosts slide animation, if you guys remember that game and its slide animation. In Call of Duty Ghosts, rather than doing the kind of like I'm on my ass sliding, in Call of Duty Ghosts, the animation is on the knees. So it's kind of like your head is at crouch position during the slide. That way, when somebody comes into a room, you know, and they immediately hit the slide button, they haven't entered a third stance while they're sliding. They're either crouching or standing, you know. And I thought for Halo, I was like, you know, sliding, some people like it, some people don't. I wonder if it would ease some of the chaoticness of a slide mechanic if we were to do it more like Call of Duty Ghosts, where Master Chief slides on his knees. That way his head is at crouch height. So that we stick to two head heights in Halo versus adding a third head height that can be initiated at any point. Did anyone else like Halo Infinite's campaign? Yeah, dude, I love Halo Infinite's campaign. Halo Infinite's campaign kicks ass.
5 enemies remaining. 2 enemies remaining.
Just look at that.
Enemy.
Like when you move, you're like bounce, 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 and then you stop. Look, he readjusts the weapon onto his shoulder when he's done moving.
Your team scored.
There's just like a lot of little details that I really appreciate.
On. Weapon drop.
This update seems insanely underwhelming. That's okay. That's fair. I feel like if you're jaded on Halo Infinite, nothing will bring you back. But if you're kind of like Team Halo, you know, and you like the game already and you're looking for more excuses to play it, this update is pretty solid. The Delta Halo, or I think it was called, yeah, Delta Arena playlist is a lot of fun.
Reinforcements.
Top post on gaming is clowning Infinite for a $26 Master Chief skin. Halo's still got a bad reputation. Is it $26? I think the Master Chief skin is actually closer to $19. I could be wrong.
Guardian.
And to be fair, clown on it, you know? I bought it. But by all means, clown on it. I think for the next Halo game, some things are going to change regarding their business model, because the prices for the skins and stuff in Halo Infinite, they are definitely not out of I wouldn't say they're out of greed. What I would say, it's out of desperation, because the game did not hit its targets. Or it fell short of its targets, I should say. And when we look at other games on the market that are currently, like, underperforming, because they come out as, like, free-to-play, and there are so many free-to-play games anyways, even to the point that, like, online games that cost money, like, Concord, like, that's not free money anymore.
Your team scored.
Like, business models are going to have to start changing the way
Black eye.
these companies think about how, you know, the kind of game that they want to make. Kids only have, kids aren't really buying video game consoles anymore. As wild as it sounds, like, consoles are kind of on the decline. PCs, iPads, phones, those are on the rise as preferred ways to play games, and those devices support Fortnite, Warzone, Roblox, and Minecraft, and that seems to be the kind of games that kids are playing now. Like, they don't need a live service Halo. They're not interested. All their friends are playing Roblox. That's where they're going to be. And so, going forward, this kind of like, hey guys, live service Halo, come get your $20 Master Chief skin. It's not sustainable as a business model. It's not working. It's not attracting anything. So all you're left with is kind of fleecing your existing player base. And then for the next game, you hopefully have a new business model that is more financially viable. I don't know what that business model would be, because, like I said, those kids are already playing their Robloxes, their Fortnites and stuff. They're not going to drop those for Halo multiplayer. It would be very interesting to be a fly on the wall over at Halo Studios, because they're in a bit of a tough situation. You know, Halo is a multiplayer franchise, first and foremost, more than campaign, I would argue. And multiplayer games right now are not doing too hot.
Double kill. Triple kill. Overkill. Reinforcement. Here's a target. Double kill.
How is the MA5K not even customizable? Asked Tim O'Brien. I said it earlier in the stream. My theory is that since Halo Studios, as far as I'm aware, they still don't have a lead animator, as well as I think their UI team is pretty small and very, very limited. I'd imagine that what's going on behind the scenes is they were told a while ago, finish up the content you've got now and ship it. And that's it. No more original weapons. Like, all eyes are being set on hiring new staff and producing the next Halo game. And then what probably happened is there was reason, you know, community requests, as well as probably even some numbers to suggest that, like, yes, Halo Infinite did not meet its mark, but there is still player spending. There is still an active community that is playing the game, even if it's smaller than normal. And if we want to keep this going a little bit longer, please, we need some resources for a new weapon. And it's like, you know what? If you can find a way to get it done without, you know, exceeding this budget limit, then go ahead. And one of the ways they figured that out is, you know, okay, don't do anything that would involve the UI team. So no academy firing range, no customization, no skins or anything like that. No unique animations. Maybe see if we can mod out the assault rifle into a new weapon. And that's the way that they were able to get the MA5K done. It comes across as like a resource challenge getting this weapon into the game. That's what I think happened behind the scenes. And if that is the case, that means that there were some people behind the scenes that we don't know the names of who fought extremely hard for the community to get this done. Good to catch you live, LNG. What do you think of the new update? Sorry I'm late. Much love, says Tim O'Brien. And I appreciate the $5, dude. That's really kind of you. The new update so far, it's decent. as somebody who already likes Halo Infinite, this is more stuff that I appreciate. What I think is actually going to be a bit of a sleeping dragon is the new weapon. We played the Delta Arena playlist a little bit, and we'll definitely go back to it. And it felt good having like an SMG type weapon, something with a little bit less range. It was good stuff. Having a bite of pizza. Don't mind me. I kind of wish they would have used the DMR's reload animation at least. Well, they're probably all linked up in some way. Like, in order to use the assault rifle's coding and stuff like that, you would have to use the assault rifle as a basis. Hard to say. I could reach out to somebody who would be in the know about this kind of stuff, who doesn't work on Halo anymore. They probably have some thoughts.
Firefight.
Any hope of seeing new Covenant or Forerunner weapons under this behind-the-scenes process? Well, remember, this is my theory on why the Avenger is so kind of like low-budget feeling. But if that were to happen, what I'm thinking is, okay, you might be able to get a plasma rifle working. And you'd have to reuse the Needler's reload animations to get it done. Because what I'm thinking is the Needler, the frame of it, sort of fits that of the plasma rifle, right? Specifically the way that it's held. You could easily, you know, take a Needler out of the hands and put a plasma rifle in there. Not sure what you would do about the reload. I'm not sure if you could just get rid of the reload and add like a vent system. I don't know if it works if it's that easy to get done. But a plasma rifle could be cool. The weapon that I really want to see the most is the shotgun, but I don't think that could be done, because there's no shell loading shotguns in this game that you could just pull animations from. Yeah. LNG, a little off topic, but what do you think of Black Ops 6? I like Black Ops 6, but I think it's a little bit undercooked. Like, it feels kind of unfinished. Which is probably less of it being unfinished and more of it being, you know, a Warzone Call of Duty game. So it is launching with kind of like the essentials, and then what they will do is add stuff as time goes on. The zombies mode I actually think is cool, but I don't think the maps are very strong. I think Cold War had stronger maps. D-Machine, I think, was a much stronger map than either Terminus or Liberty Falls. Because really the reason that I'm playing Black Ops Zombies is not because the actual gameplay is fun or like the vibes of the map are interesting or unique. It's just because I want to rank up my weapons. The actual vibes of the maps are kind of like flat. And granted, Black Ops Cold War had that same problem, but I think D-Machine was a little bit more classy, I guess is the best way to describe it.
Rampage. 2 enemies remaining.
Here, we're gonna grab this sniper rifle.
Last enemy. Your team scored. Fall on. Weapon drop.
Is it not possible to take the Halo 5 shotgun asset and put it into Infinite, same with the fuel rod gun, plasma rifle, etc.? I'm not sure if the animations for the shotgun would be able to be transferable into the live game. It's, like, possible, because I don't know, but I'd have to ask. I know that at one point the shotgun was going to be a part of the game, but then Sandbox cut it for some reason. To the point that there were actually places in Halo Infinite's open world designed for the shotgun. There's a cave system in Halo Infinite's open world. I can't remember where it is on the map. But the idea was going to be that you go into the back of the cave and you find a dead Marine squad, and they've got a shotgun next to them, and that's where you find the blueprint for the shotgun that you can spawn back at your bases. And that is when you get ambushed by, I think it was skirmishers? Something like that. And the idea was going to be, it was going to be a soft tutorial on how to use the shotgun. You pick up this new toy, fight your way out of a close quarters situation against really fast enemies using the shotgun. But then, you know, it was cut, and so that whole cave system was kind of made pointless. So it exists in the open world, but it's not, nothing's really done with it.
Triple kill.
Using Halo 5 animations in Halo Infinite might look odd. No, I don't think so. It depends on if the Halo 5 animations themselves are compatible with Halo Infinite under the hood. Like, on a technical level.
Double kill. 5 enemies remaining.
With Avenger starts, the Commando feels more usable. Yes, I did notice that. Now that the Assault Rifle is kind of out of the picture, the Commando feels like a little... I feel like there's more of a reason to pick up the Commando. Yeah, I won't get into the whole thing. You know my thoughts on the Assault Rifle. I think Halo's more healthy with a close-ranged Assault Rifle.
Your team scored.
Oh, I'm gonna take another bite out of this pizza.
Salmon on. Weapon drop.
Ah, that's good stuff. Here, let's turn on screen shake. Let's turn on blur. Because I want to see what happens in third person when you've got all these visual effects enabled. I think screen shake is a part of third person to an extent. I mean, definitely not when sprinting. It's just, it's fun to see what the differences are, you know?
Reinforcements.
What are the toppings? It appears to be sausage, onion, and cheese. G'day, how's the MA5K and Pacific Drive been so far? Pacific Drive has been really awesome. The performance is really, really demanding on my GTX 1080 Ti. So I've had to use frame generation, actually. Lock the game at 30 FPS, use frame generation to get 60 FPS, then I can run the game on like a mix of high to ultra. And I've been enjoying it that way. And then I just use motion blur enabled to mask, you know, the artifacts that come with frame generation. And that's been a pleasant way to experience the game. Yeah, good game so far. And as far as the MA5K, it's actually great. I mean, not maybe, you know, like mechanically, it's not like busted or anything, or at least I don't feel like it's busted yet. But in terms of its role within the sandbox, actually, it feels really nice to kind of have a close range starter weapon that's automatic in Halo Infinite. I noticed that the Commando now, it feels... Whereas before, like, the Commando, obviously, you know, it had its uses, it was pretty decent when you get your hands on it, but now the Commando has so much more of a role to fill.
Your team scored.
Because you're not going to be getting kills at a range with the Avenger like you did with the Assault Rifle. You're a fantastic distraction from election anxiety. Love you for that. Random, that's why I started streaming. I was like, you know what? New Halo Infinite update. I need to keep my mind off things. There's probably other people who need to keep their mind off things. Let's just, let's retreat into the world of Halo and see what's new. And thankfully what's new is pretty cool.
Hill ready. Hill control.
If they wanted, they could reuse the stock rifle venting for a plasma carbine, like for a Forerunner weapon. I'd imagine that they'd want the Forerunner weapons to use that like hard light charge up. Like if you remember in Halo Infinite, all of the Forerunner weapons, they don't really vent. They have like this charge up.
Double kill. Reinforcements. Reinforcements.
You know, if it's a kinetic weapon, it reloads via a magazine, or like
Overkill.
kind of like the Hydra via little mini rockets. For the hard light weapons, they do that weird kind of like charge up. And then for the plasma weapons, they vent.
Double kill. Cluster love. Triple kill. Overkill. Cluster love. Double kill.
Oh boy. That wasn't good.
Reinforcements.
I just hope we get the fuel rod gun and the mutilator, maybe the Falcon too. Yeah, the mutilator is what I'm very keen on. I really want to get the mutilator. For those of you not in the know, there was a weapon that was going to be part of Halo Infinite's live service. And it was a double-barreled brute shotgun with gravity hammer technology in it. So it would, like, if it didn't kill you, it would throw you back. And it looked pretty cool. But that thing just kind of never got finished. It's a bit like, the way it was described to me was, Halo Infinite, you know, launched without much of a live service plan because it was quite literally a sprint to the finish line to get the game out the door. So they didn't actually have like a lot of time to get work started on the live service content, which content takes quite a bit of time to make, especially stuff that is like a new weapon, because you've got to get a whole bunch of different teams involved. You got to get UI, you've got to get animation, sound effects, engineering, networking, visual effects. I think I said visual effects already, maybe. As well as a bunch of other stuff so that you can, you know, bring the weapon to life in a way. So when it became clear that they were working too slowly, Halo Infinite was kind of becoming a lost cause. New studio leadership basically said, we're going to be winding things down. We're going to focus on a new Halo game, finish up the content that's already there, and stuff that requires a ton of money to finish, we're just going to drop. And so stuff like the Mutilator was part of that. But it sounds like something's changed behind the scenes, and now the Mutilator might be coming to the game. Because it was more or less like finished. It was kind of like polish is what was needed. Good to hear. One thing I'll note is that when I last played Pacific Drive, load times get longer the further into the game I went. Unsure if that's been fixed. I've noticed that load times seem to get... I think it probably has to do with just like all the various things that it's got to keep track of. Like when I start a new game, load times are actually extremely quick. The White Disruptor is such an amazing gun. Yeah, the Ultra Disruptor in this game, it's for Gruntpocalypse. It's pretty much like the gun. You know, if you see that little grunt boss Bit-Bap, get his gun. Get his gun, because I think one shot can kill up to 2 grunts because of how much damage the pulse does, the electrical pulse, and fire like maybe 2 or 3 shots into a crowd, and it can easily wipe them all out. But around the time that you've got the Mythic, you know, that upgrades their health, that's where you want to switch to a precision weapon.
Heal, Guardian.
Am I the only one who thinks the new MA5K sounds like the gun from Aliens? It sounds like just kind of like the Halo Infinite Assault Rifle, to me at least. Like the pulse rifle's more hollow sound. But I finally saw Alien Romulus last night, and let me tell you, that was a great movie. That was really good. I was pleasantly surprised by how good Alien Romulus was. I wasn't expecting much of it, and so I walked away from it really, really happy. Have you played Doom 64 Unseen Evil? I have not. The AR and Sidekick were a good combo, so it's interesting to see how the MA5K slots in there. Well, the MA5K, I'd wager the reason it's in the game is probably because the assault rifle, it's a little bit over-tuned for decent social matches. Because what made those older Halo games, Social Slayer, a lot of fun was the fact that your starter weapon didn't have a lot of range. So gunfights usually didn't get started until someone picked up a different weapon. So fights were usually really chill. There was a lot of movement. You felt like you had a lot of freedom. And it's battle rifle starts where gunfights started at a longer range. But by making the assault rifle have so much range in Halo 5 and Halo Infinite, things are it's basically fully auto BR starts. Like the pressure is on immediately. And they didn't have a close range SMG to fall back on for social Slayer type stuff. So that's probably the reasoning behind the inclusion of the Avenger. Was they were like, people would be mad if we nerfed the assault rifle because the Halo community seems to like it being easy to use. So they wanted to add a new gun that they could use then for social starts. That's what I'm thinking. Dude, the zero-G scenes were the best. In Alien Romulus, yeah, it was really damn clever. Because I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, like, the Alien franchise, what's really kind of frustrating about it is the first movie works so well because you don't know what the alien is and you have no clue what its life cycle is. So everything the alien does is unknowable and scary. And you can't do anything else after that because now you know the creature. So Prometheus I actually respect quite a bit for exploring other areas of the Alien universe and kind of like recontextualizing Alien as not being about the xenomorph specifically, but more about the horrors that are out there in deep space, that the xenomorph is just one of many terrible, terrible things. Including possibly our own origins as a species. To which Alien Covenant threw that in the trash and then took a dump all over everybody. But yeah, so Alien Romulus, I was like, I'll be the judge on if you're a good Alien movie. And it was. It figured out a way to introduce some horror to something I'm already very familiar with.
Enemy team took the hill.
How's the game going? The game is going quite well. Really, really happy with the new Avenger so far.
Hill controlled.
There we go. It is Forerunner weapons reload individual shots sequentially. They all reload like the M90 45 SG. It's neat how these weapons would be perfect for the Flood. Well, I think the reload of the Forerunner weapons in Halo Infinite, it feels almost kind of like a generator. Like it feels kind of like you think of like those old flashlights that were powered by like a crank. You know, you crank it up and kind of build up a charge, and then you've got like a couple of minutes of light. If you stop cranking it, that's what it reminds me of, where it's kind of like the weapon's battery is empty. And so you've got to kind of like spin up the generator to generate power again. That's what the Forerunner stuff, the hard light weapons, always reminded me of in this game. Because you look at like the Sentinel beam in this game, and it does look like some kind of coil begins spinning up, and you can see it glowing brighter and brighter as it builds power. Same with some of the other weapons. And they've got that like purple look to them. Like it's like this weird like nebula cosmic color. So I wonder if they're channeling some kind of like deep space energy source of some kind, and you tap into that using these generators that are built into the weapons. They're cool reload animations. It is sad seeing how corporate game development is now. Yeah, it definitely is. Like, I think games were just better. They were better in terms of quality, content, variety, when development studios had... rather than specialists, you had developers that could assume different roles. You know, so rather than like, you are the music guy, stay in music, that's it, do not touch anything else. You could have a music guy who also dabbles in like cutscene cinematics as well as sound design. It can lead to crunch if you're not careful, and studios like Bungie were not careful. But I do think that ultimately what you get is something that's a little bit more coherent as a game, because kind of building a game with all these different developer silos, I think it just makes it tougher for the final game to come together. Oh my god. Sure. I love you, baby. Yeah. Okay, it's 5. Sounds good. Yeah, I'll do it in 30 minutes, okay. And Alexander Andrews, that was your first, no, that was your 3rd super on a live stream. I appreciate that, buddy. Cheers, thank you for the $5.
Enemy team took the hill.
I read that they're moving forward with a sequel to Romulus, which is sick. Ridley Scott is making his own new movie as well. Interesting. Yeah, if Ridley Scott like wants to make his own like original stuff, I think that that's good. I think he's probably very like tapped out when it comes to the alien, like the xenomorph as a creature, because Alien Covenant was so bad. Whereas Prometheus was messy and very kind of like sloppy, but that's what makes it interesting, because you can see that it's like sloppy from how many ideas it had. Prometheus was mediocre in my opinion. It's got too much ambition for me to call it mediocre. I would call it more messy, is the way I would put it. Because mediocre, I think, is just like nobody here cared. They put in a C-level effort. Prometheus just feels kind of like it wanted to do everything. And because of that, it feels very scattered. But I think that's what does make it interesting, because if you slow down a little bit, you can see all of the different ideas that it had, and they are all interesting ideas. And I'm a big sucker for goofy sci-fi Christian allegories or Greek allegories. Like calling a thing Prometheus. It's like, got it, I get it. You're not subtle, you know, or Halo. That stuff is very corny and very fun, I think. It's like an artificial way to give your story like an elevated sense of like, ooh, this is really important.
Hill incoming.
I really wanted to like Romulus. The second half just felt like a fan film to me with forced references and main characters constantly getting saved at the last second. I can't really think of main characters getting saved at the last second outside of the lady falling down the elevator shaft. Which, that was odd. Like, I think the implication was supposed to be that, like... Because they were saying, like, it's intelligent, you know, it was waiting for the door to open, and when it saw that they just, like, weren't going to open the door, that's when it just killed the lady. So, it's possible that it saved her from falling down the elevator shaft because it wanted, you know... wanted to her to meet its facehugger friend, but I think that's the only part. Like, the fan film stuff, I guess I don't feel that, because I think that the offspring, like, that creature was so just unsettling. Like, it was just a very, very unsettling, creepy idea. And I think what they were setting up, like, all the fan servicey stuff, like them having Rook, you know? Like, it definitely is fan service, but I also think narratively it served the purpose. Like, it would have been one thing if it was like... if it just... hey, look, it's Rook for a second, and then that's it, moving on. But the fact he was actually, like, a player in the plot, I was like, okay, yeah, there's a bit of continuity to the first Alien here. And now, going into the sequel, where you've got, like, an entire colony that's kind of overwhelmed by these aliens, it's like, that makes a little bit sense now. Because we've so heavily set up now that Weyland Yutani has access to the xenomorph. Here, let me go up. Power is drawn from the main battery, reserve ammo, into a capacitor, the magazine. Also, I've plans to commission some art of my reworked Spec Ops. Ooh. That sounds interesting. Yeah, but on the topic of the battery, yeah, it's fun. If you wanted the Forerunner stuff to work that way, I think having like a battery is a fun idea. Excuse me. Romulus was pretty Force Awakens-y at times, but its original moments were also good. Like that Zero-G fight set piece. Yeah, I'm not sure if Alien Romulus ever got extremely Force Awakens-y. Maybe Get Away From Her, You Bitch was like the most, because it's like, that is quote for quote what Ellen Ripley says in the other movie. But outside of that, nothing ever felt kind of like the movie. I think of the scene when Han Solo and Chewbacca enter the Millennium Falcon, and he's like, Chewie, we're home. And the like, it's holding on them. The camera. Like, the movie thinks they are so important. It's almost like it was built into the film, the please clap. You know, the audience applause was built into the film. So that scene felt very kind of, like, odd. Because you could feel that they were, like, and this is the part where the audience will clap. So make sure it holds on them for a bit until everyone settles down. But Alien Romulus, its references always felt like it was just because the plot of the movie is in motion due to what happened in the first movie. You know, it's not like an unrelated story that's happening. If it wasn't for the first movie happening, the plot of Alien Romulus wouldn't be going on. And so that's why I don't... And it all feels fairly organic. Like, it's obviously respectful of the first Alien movie, but it doesn't feel like it's... Remember Alien, guys? Remember Alien? It feels more like, oh crap, they got Rook. Like, they were able to recover Rook.
Watch your heads.
I feel like getting Fassbender back to play David was more ethical and a no-brainer, though, instead of the whole deep fake Ash thing. The deep fake stuff is definitely still, don't know how to feel about it, because that Rook looked unsettlingly close to real in some shots. I was like starting to get uncomfortable in some of the scenes because of how realistic he looked. There were definitely like other spots where something was off, like his face looked a little bit too small. My wife noticed that he looked way too young. Like it was kind of like they beautified him. And a lot of the blemishes that the actor had in the original movie just kind of like weren't present. He looked like he'd been put kind of like through a beauty filter. What's you and your wife's favorite Transformers? Our favorite Transformers depiction? Gotta be Transformers Animated. The 0G rifle scene was awesome in Romulus. Yeah, that's something I also appreciate, is a lot of the stuff, the scares, the suspenseful moments were very original.
Halfway to victory.
Like, they were clearly, like, aware of how exhausted people were getting with the, you know. And this is the part where the chest burster comes out of the person's stomach. We gotta blow it out the airlock. Like, they were exhausted by all of that. Give me... I'll finish this match and then we'll head up. Rook looked super uncanny, freaky. It's also that thing about the human brain where it's like, because of all of the way that our brains are wired and we all perceive things in very different ways, what will look uncanny to us varies depending on the person. Like, there were, you know, Grand Moff Tarkin in Rogue One. I thought he looked like hot shit. Like, he looked so bad. Every single scene he was in, I could tell that it wasn't a real person. He looked like a fake, rubbery, Gumby zombie. But then there were other people that said he looked photorealistic. They didn't even know that he was CGI. And then for me, Rook... he was really, really unsettling because there were some scenes where it looked like him. It didn't look like CGI. So I'd be very curious to know what it is that your brain spotted that maybe my brain did not spot. His eyes looked massive. Yeah, its eyes are really hard to do. And I'm not even sure like what it is. I mean, CGI artists, like they're experts on this, you know, they could probably explain better what it is. I knew CGI Tarkin would be mentioned eventually. Is it bad that I didn't even know Rogue One's Tarkin was even CGI until I read an article after the movie came out? No, it's not bad. It's never bad. That speaks more to just kind of like the way that your brain works. You know, because that's the Uncanny Valley is not an objective thing. It's actually very subjective. The reason that, you know, the Uncanny Valley exists, the kind of the heebie-jeebies that we get when something looks almost human but something doesn't look quite right, it's self-defense, you know? It's self-defense. Like, your brain is really good at looking for faces and identifying human faces. And if it doesn't look right, like, your brain is sending warning signals that, like, something's off, like, danger, danger, this might be a trap, you might be eaten by a tiger, or something like that, you know? It's just kind of like, it's, you know, survival instinct. That's what the Uncanny Valley is. So, as, you know, humans are wired different. There is no normal brain, abnormal brain. There's different neurotypes for a reason, different life experiences that help build, you know, what we perceive as danger. So it's always interesting to hear folks that think that CGI actually looks really realistic, and then somebody right next to them can say, that doesn't look convincing at all. It just means that, like, your two brains are incredibly different. And that's interesting.
Victory.
Transformers the Animated is so good. Something I find interesting about it is how very strongly Beast Wars a lot of the characters' personalities and dynamics are. Yeah, Beast Wars, I think, was, like, the strongest Transformers adaptation. And it maybe is, just because the final season of Transformers Animated, when they introduced those, like, Russian twins, and Sari Sumdak became, like, a superhero, that's when the show, like, nosedived, I think. Like, it began to kind of lose the plot and lose focus on what made the show charming in the first place, but Beast Wars was a great template to build off of, and I'm very, very happy that Transformers Animated kind of learned that. Because it was a smart choice. Here, let's go over to the training mode quickly and let's goof off with this new weapon. Just a little bit. We'll do a little bit of goofing, a little bit of gaffing, you know? Inquisitor. What historically happened to give us a natural reaction to something that looks human but isn't? I'd imagine it's probably, like, well, it probably is just survival instinct. It's kind of like how some butterflies, the reason that they have those spots, like a spot on each wing, is because when they extend their, when they fully extend their wingspan, it, to a less intelligent animal that just gets a quick glance, it looks like the face of a tiger that's looking at them from the darkness. You know, so they see predator, gotta run, and it keeps the butterfly safe. And so there's stuff like that. And also, something to keep in mind is that, like, us as humans, we have not been the top dog throughout human history. Well, we are now, and for a majority of human history, maybe. But once upon a time, there were different species of human that we were all kind of, like, existing alongside, maybe fighting against. You know, there was, like, the Neanderthal. I think even, remember in the Halo books, the Forerunner trilogy, those, like, 3-foot-tall, like, Hobbit-like humans, those were actually based off of a real discovery from 2010, where it was like there was probably another early evolution species of the human race where they were a lot smaller than us. And all of them died out, and Homo sapiens, we became, like, the dominant intelligent species on the planet. So there probably was some kind of deep in our DNA ability to look for the physiological differences that separated us from those other species of human, and that survival instinct is still buried there deep in our genes, like the ability to spot and tell that something is not quite right with what we're looking at. There's probably also like a billion other reasons. You know, somebody's probably going to comment actually what the real reason is. Yeah. Multiple cryptids and other folkloric creatures are derived from us getting a glimpse of an owl in flight, so we're easily as susceptible to visual tricks like that as any other animal. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's not like we're supremely intelligent or anything, you know. We see, like, a fucking, like, a fox that doesn't have any hair, and we just think it is like a chupacabra or something. Or a Bigfoot or something. Like, we're super susceptible to visual trickery. As well as just like how much. Have you ever seen like those visual illusion tricks that you can find online, where it's like hold your phone at this angle and move it up and down and look at the image, and the image just looks like it's changing? Because life is happening so fast and our reflexes are so limited that our brain has to do a lot of just, it's almost like AI frame generation, but it's our brains doing the frame generation, where it's just too much data to sift through, so our brain will fill in the blanks for us. And it's very easy to fake your brain out. Hey man, Bigfoot doesn't believe in you either. The real reason that skinwalkers are very good at pretending to be used, so in a matter of life and death to know. I think the Mothman, I don't quite know how I feel about it. I think it's a little bit dumb. Like, just a little bit. I guess maybe it's like the name that kind of makes me think, like, come on, man. Mothman? There's, I live in Virginia, though, and there is a, Virginia, it's one of, like, the most like, I hate it so much because of how inorganic it is, but, Virginia is trying very hard to have their own cryptid, and it drives me crazy because of how bad and forced it is. It's like a sewer killer clown, or the killer clown of something bridge. I can't, somebody can probably, they're probably like, oh, you're talking about that clown thing, who lives in Virginia, but I forgot what it is. My wife was really into it when we were in middle school. I hated it, because even when I was a kid, I was like, that's so dumb. Like, why are we trying to, you know, stop trying to make the killer clown a thing, Virginia. The killer clown will not be a thing. You know, Mothman is one thing. Name may be dumb, but that urban legend kind of organically grew within West Virginia. This stupid killer clown thing that Virginia is trying to make into their own cryptid, it's stupid, and they should stop. Never heard of it, and I live there. What about the Springfield area of Virginia? Springfield, Washington, D.C., like that kind of circle. I've never played Infinite. Is there a plasma rifle in this game? There is not a plasma rifle. What there is... Here, I will show you. Pulse carbine. This is the plasma rifle stand-in. It fires 4 bolts, you know, in one press of the trigger. You can also hold down the trigger and it'll continuously fire. It can be vented, and the bolts track their targets. They home in. but because of the delay between the bursts, you can't really use this thing up close. You have to use it at medium to long range, because up close, it fires just too slow for it to be of any real use. What you can do in close range is you can pump it in a burst and then do a melee, and that'll get the kill. But, see, it's tricky. It's hard to do. I headcanon Jeff Steitzer as Adam Preston Cole. Oh, man. Dude, Jeff Steitzer's a cool guy. Yeah, and Jeff Steitzer, I can totally see it working. How did Halo 5 get a plasma rifle, but not Halo Infinite? I'd imagine resources. Resources, planning, you know, that kind of stuff. Like, I think it's pretty clear that Halo 5's post-launch support was a lot smoother of a process. I mean, maybe not smooth. It sounded like it was like soul-crushing to work on Halo 5's post-launch content. But they had plans in place. Yeah. Clown slander, shaking my head. Yeah, killer clowns are dumb. It's just dumb. It's like, it's a dumb thing. Because I think it's the fact that it's clearly, like, there's a person there, but they're wearing crazy face paint, and they're acting kind of, like, detached from reality, because they're being silly and stuff. And it's like, especially when clowns are in character, because it's like, I know you're an adult. Why can't I reach you? You know, why can't I get you? Like, there's that detachment that kind of like unsettles me a little bit. I feel the same way around performers who are in character. Like, if you go to Gettysburg or something and you've got people doing reenactments and they'll talk to you in character, like, they kind of unsettle me a little bit, because it's like, dude, come on, like, drop it. Like, can you talk to me like a human being, please? I know you're in there. But killer clowns, I think, are dumb. It's the Joker, baby. Oh, dude, I freaking love the Joker, baby. Joker baby is my favorite incarnation of the Joker. That video is hard to watch, by the way. The Joker baby video. It's like it reminds me of, I think we've all been there when we were in middle school or high school or whatever, and we all thought that we had an on-point impression of Heath Ledger's Joker, when in reality, we all looked like the Joker baby. So, like, standing around like a bunch of idiots all saying, "You want to know how I got these scars?" to each other. In our soul, we are all the Joker baby, and that's what makes the Joker baby very cringe. ADM is short for Admiral. Missed an older super. Crap. Okay, let me go back. To be fair, batteries are just reserve ammo displayed as a percentage rather than a number count, though the latter works better with magazine weapons, in my opinion. Yeah, ultimately, like, the Forerunner weapons, they are magazine fed, you know? It's nice that they do have, like, a battery display, but they are just, you know, they are just magazine fed in Halo Infinite, which I am of the opinion that I actually prefer some of the weapons to not be that way. Like the Sentinel Beam, at least. I'm not too big a fan of the Sentinel Beam being like a submachine gun, because in the previous Halo games, what I liked about the Sentinel Beam was that it looked very uncomfortable to hold, and it couldn't be reloaded, and it kind of just seemed like Master Chief would rip it off of a Sentinel and use it as a weapon, and then when it's out of battery, he just kind of like chucks it away. That's just me, though. Guys, I am going to hop off now, because the wife wants to go watch the news with me, because things are happening, as well as my father's here, and he doesn't often ask to hang out in this way, so it's like, ooh, exciting. So, I shall catch you all later, okay? This was a lot of fun. Thank you guys. And this was a good way to pass the time. I'm working on a video right now. It's the video about the Halo 1 remake. And I got some thoughts on it. And you guys actually helped quite a lot on the previous couple of streams. And so I am looking forward to getting that video up probably